1995. I didn't realise until 2 years later she was barely scraping a living together and living in squalor. I was very concerned for her and cooked her many meals, and then finally we got some social care for her, carer and Meals on Wheels, and she ever since has had care that she deserved, the human rights as you know, she should do. We could go on about, this is a wonderful welfare state. You know, we do have the best welfare system in the world, or we did do up until recently. We could tell you more stories about other friends and people who have become carers to their children, spouses and relatives, the ill, dying and very, very sick. I mean, their lives have been severely impacted in all ways, including anxiety and financial stress. Children become mini adults as they have to help household chores at a very young age when a sibling or parent is sick. The elderly also become the main carers for their dying spouse. It is fundamental that services and respite care are essential to support these very families. I am now going to read a speech on behalf of Hazel in her honour. Hello, ATOS Miracles. Our government estimates that approximately 64% of households affected by the bedroom tax have a disabled person living in them. It is also a tax on carers losing their meagre income for providing 24/7 for loved ones. But the bedroom tax is just the tip of the iceberg of these devastating cuts imposed on the dying, the sick and the disabled, all under the banner of welfare reform. At ATOS Miracles, we know the cost of cuts because on a busy week our Facebook posts reached 750,000 people. The avalanche of messages begging for help from desperate, disabled people just break our hearts. Every day we are asked for help by people who have not long left to live. People in incurable deteriorating conditions. People who have worked for decades now being left with no support just when they need it. They have been good citizens, paid all that was due to the state, but are now being left with no support at the worst times of their life. Now they are severely incapacitated. And other messages state that disabled people and their carers have not one penny coming in, nothing. Some have had no heating all last winter. Some are about to be homeless and already homeless due to the government department mistakes and policies. Many have had not enough food and are losing weight rapidly, and others have no food. This is the 7th richest country in the world, treating its loyal and vulnerable citizens like this. If you look around you, I don't know if anyone's wearing one, but there are armbands being worn. Anyone got one? This is in honour for the deaths directly caused or hastened by these cuts. When you see an armband, you are seeing a unique and precious human life allowed to die by this government. Directly, people are committing suicide. People whose lives are already one constant unbearable pain, loss and suffering due to ill health, find they cannot go on once their social security is stopped. They are so ill they cannot continue to fight and so take their own lives. This is tragic. So how does this happen, you ask? You may have heard of the fearful work capability assessment to determine who can work or who is to be helped back to work. Typically, a nurse or psychotherapist may see a claimant for 15 minutes and run through a computer tick box system with a disabled person. As exposed by one of their overseeing doctors on BBC this year, Dr. Greg Wood and other ex-employers, assessors have to find a certain number of claimants fit for work. It is wholly about targets. If assessors don't meet their targets, then someone higher up will rule the result and the dying, the sick, the severely disabled are found fit for work. Consultants and GPs who should have known who've known their patients for decades, who absolutely state their patient could not or should not work because of incapacity and danger to that person. There are stories in the press. For instance, a person who was in a coma at the time of their assessment was found fit for work. Another family received notice that their loved one was fit for work on the day of his funeral. People have had heart attacks while in the ATOS building, caused by the stress process, and have been carried off, and still found fit for work. People can appeal, but it is common to wait over a year to get to appeal. In the meantime, people have reduced monies to live on and periods of no money at all. At appeal, the average success rate is around 40%. Leading commentator Mark Still says that the ATOS could get the results right, but with professional representation at a tribunal, the success rates of appeal can climb to 100% success. Now, what a surprise then that the government have now stopped legal aid for these tribunals. So while the state pays entirely for the consequences of wrong assessments, the director of the French company, ATOS, paid by the government, received 1.9 million in wages and bonuses. 1.9 million from the public purse last year, and with no fines or costs upon ATOS every time it makes a mistake. So due to the increased stress upon people, so many die prematurely as a direct cause of the process. They die before their tribunals are even organised. In 2012, the Department of Work and Pensions said 10,600 people declared fit for work died within 6 weeks of their claim ending. We would like to offer further breakdowns and analysis, but the government departments have refused constant freedom of information requests for analysis. And why are they refusing requests for facts? We are, at heart, a kind-hearted nation, and we want the very needy and vulnerable to be cared for. Human rights asserts that every individual has the basic right to fresh food, a home, and other basic needs. The bedroom tax, well, if you've got a spare room, we all know that you have, items like wheelchairs, wheel ramps, all cluttering up your house. So, where is the spare bedroom? And, if one of you is too ill to sleep with your spouse, you sleep in the spare room anyway. We could go on. You all have examples here, right, today? Yeah? Are you here with me? Yay! We are in a civilised society, so why are the government targeting to choose the very weak and ill in society? How cowardly! Now, isn't it better that the government create a nation who loves and cares about one another, especially the disabled, mentally ill, elderly and children? But the welfare system costs the country $5 billion a year compared to 25 billion unpaid taxes in this country. I read that 32 trillion were in offshore accounts. Not million, not billion, but trillions in offshore accounts. Someone's laughing. Is it laughable? These offshore accounts protect the finances of the wealthy rich from paying their taxes. The government know this, and still little has been achieved by this government to change the law. Is this because some of the MPs have their millions in the tax havens? Do we agree? Yes. The lack of integrity comes from the top and filters down in society. Still, the global companies are legally avoiding paying taxes through the legal tax loopholes. Making cuts to the disabled is small fry compared to the massive tax evasion, thanks to the loopholes that continue to be implemented in this country. Surely if the government have energy and time to make cuts to the disabled in society, why then can they not change the law for big companies trading in this country to pay tax on profits made in this country? If there is a budget deficit, then start by counselling tax cuts for top earners and closing avoidance loopholes. if the foot was on the other shoe, the very wealthy would wish to be cared for, should they be so unfortunate to require social care. Do you not agree?
Yes!
Say yes if you agree with me.
Yes!
Okay, let's have some noise here. I am. Okay. Just very quickly then, the Queen had a 5 million raise. The MPs are quaking about 65,000 a year, which is over double the amount a year. And this could increase to 75,000. Oh, poor them. This salary, well, dare I say, will cost the taxpayers £6,250 million extra if that goes ahead, and that's supposed to be only a minimum, so that will be more than 6,250 million to the state for their increases in wages. There has been 7 billion spent on 2 aircraft carriers. We could go on and on about a fast-track bullet train going to Birmingham from London. If there are austerity cuts, why not cut these, and defence, and wars, and anything else? I have to wrap up, but 1.1 billion was spent by taxpayers on hotels, meals and drinks. In one of the papers it was reported yesterday by civil servants. Yes, that's 1 billion on hotels, meals and drinks. Oh, how the other half live. Okay, so it doesn't make sense. Please, let's get some integrity back into the accountability of our financing. Start reducing the differentiation between the highest and lowest salary in this country, and to have some balance in the distribution of wealth in this society. I am going to stop here now, and I've got some more, but we are about to march to Downing Street, and Paula's about to speak. But can I hear a big yes to no more cuts for the disabled, and no to the bedroom tax?
No to the bedroom tax!
I can't hear you!
No to the bedroom tax!
We need to be louder!
No to the bedroom tax!
I said louder!
Thank you so much.
They want to hear it there!
Hi everybody! Disabled people against cuts,